This is a really, really genuine attempt to consult with key partners, key stakeholders, the third sector, voluntary sector, social enterprise, wherever you sit, on the future of ChangeUp.
The contribution of the third sector is enormous, and the potential contribution of the sector is even bigger. The effectiveness and the vitality of the third sector is essential if the government itself is to meet its key priorities. This isn't just about public service delivery, important though that is. Capacity Builders believes that VCOs can play an even bigger part in public service provision, working in partnership, we would stress, not in competition to public services. And I was pleased yesterday to hear the Chancellor directly saying that from his point of view, this was not about cut price provision of public services. This was about a real partnership between the third sector, the public sector, and indeed the private sector. But in addition to that, we also believe that voluntary and community organisations have an essential job to do in social innovation, in campaigning and policy development, in giving a voice to those who might otherwise not be heard, and in helping to build and regenerate the communities in which they operate. Now, we at Capacity Builders want to play our part in helping to build the capacity of the sector to reach its potential. When ChangeUp was launched in 2004 on an unsuspecting world, its ambitions were neither small nor at that stage perfectly formed. The ambitions, as it set out in the original documents, and I quote, were bold but achievable, that by 2014 the needs of frontline voluntary and community organisations will be met by support which is available nationwide, structured for maximum efficiency, offering excellent provision which is accessible to all while reflecting and promoting diversity, and is sustainably funded. In our view, infrastructure investment itself is important, but it has no purpose in its own right. It only has a purpose if it helps frontline organisations to do their job more effectively. So while the ChangeUp vision was bold, there was at that stage no clear roadmap to get us from the beginning to the end of that 10-year strategy. No satellite navigation to tell us whether we were making progress, no milestones, no signposts. And that's what we're seeking, again with your help, to put in place today with this document, Destination 2014. But I am certainly confident, and I think yesterday's announcements underlined this, that the commitment of government to the development of the third sector, the greater involvement of the third sector, not only in public service provision but across the board in the development of economic prosperity and social progress, is such that we can assume that that will be translated into longer-term funding. But we as a sector also have a job to do to make sure that we show that we can demonstrate that such funding is making a real difference and that it can help to fulfil the vision of a third sector that is independent, innovative, flexible, responsive, and sustainable. Now, to support that vision of the third sector, we will commission work to improve the sector's knowledge, skills, and staff trustee development, its use of IT and other resources, its ability to plan, evaluate, and improve performance, its ability to raise and manage money, and to make the best use of volunteers. We're setting out our key objectives, which we believe should be achieved over the next 8 years. These are our proposals, but we want to hear from you whether you think they are the right objectives. And we need to be clear that the objectives and the targets which are set out in this document are carved in polystyrene, not in stone. They are going to evolve as the needs of the sector evolve and change. They are going to evolve as you tell us they should change.
It's absolutely essential that we all grip hold of the issues about building the capacity of the sector and how we can do that most effectively, how everybody can do that most effectively. Government is committed to, and I'm using the word with a small g, government is committed to the role of the third sector, but it won't get its objectives met whatever they individually are, by the third sector, unless it's a strong and healthy and vibrant sector, unless it's got the capacity to be able to respond and react and lead on a series of different issues. One big advantage of Capacity Builders as an agency is that our job is to try and build the capacity of the sector, whatever the sector is doing, whatever its objectives are. During this consultation period, hold your breath about questions you're going to be asked. We will be asking people, well, what should be the content of the 6, 7 or 8 national programmes of activity? What are your views about what should be in those documents, which become tender briefs, which then allow people to apply for that through an open competitive commissioning process for main contractors to us? We want to be sure that consortia are offering programmes and activities and investments which meet our objectives as set out and which ensure alignment between what is happening nationally and what is happening locally. I also want to say we're going to take a number of initiatives which are reflected in the plan about dealing with, maybe the wrong use of words, I should tell you, dealing with can be interpreted in a number of ways, dealing with local authorities and other public sector players.
I suppose what I want to do, and I'm interested in hearing from you about how you think the programme is working around the country and at national level, and how you think government can be helping to improve it. And I suppose what the main thing I've learned in the last 7 months is that government needs to be a better partner with you in all kinds of ways. One of the reasons for moving from the ChangeUp programme, administered by what was the Home Office and is now the Cabinet Office, where the Office of the Third Sector now is, to Capacity Builders, is a recognition that the programme, if it was going to work, needed to be sector-led. And I hope you will see a difference in the partnership that you have with the programme. Obviously, I want the Capacity Builders programme to continue through the next spending review. I understand that if we've set out a 10-year programme for you, then simply providing 2 years of funding is inadequate. But I definitely want Capacity Builders to be part of that vision going forward, because I recognise that the job has been started in terms of strengthening the infrastructure, but it is in no way complete. We're spending £70 million over the coming 2 years on the programme. It's about a quarter of the budget that I control. It's a large part of the budget I control. It is incredibly important, and I know this because I know there are fantastic examples around the country that we can prove to people that this money is well spent and is making a real difference on the ground. And if it's not making a difference, we need to know about why it's not making a difference and what we can do to make that happen. We need to prove the effectiveness of the programme. I think the sector should be doing a lot more of what it's good at in the next 10 years. More campaigning, more capacity building, more social enterprise, and more engagement with public services in a diverse range of ways. That's my view. But I need you to engage with us about where you think the relationship between state and sector should go over the coming years, because only then will we be able to set out an agenda that commands your support and respect and our support and takes us forward.